So in the past few chapters we have studied quite a lot of things. We have studied about the translational motion, circular motion, laws of motion. So with all those concepts we can now move on to some important aspects of motion. So in this particular chapter we will be focusing on center of mass, linear momentum and collision. So first we will start with the concept of center of mass, and then we will move on to linear momentum and then to the concept of collision. So first of all, let's start with the concept of center of mass. So suppose there is a spinner who is throwing a cricket ball vertically up. Now this spinner turns his fingers while throwing the ball, and the ball starts to rotate, and it starts to spin, and then it rapidly moves towards one side or the other side. So when the ball is thrown, when the ball is thrown, it follows some trajectory like this. So this type of trajectory is, as you know, is called projectile motion. Projectile motion. Now let's say we have a different kind of an object. Let's say we have some object which is shaped like this. Let's say this is some kind of a bat or some asymmetric object. Now let's say if you throw this object, so what will happen to this object? So when you throw this object, it will move in this particular shape. So if you focus here, the motion is like this, like this. So the object is first in this orientation, then this orientation, then like this, then like this, then this, then this, and like this. So the orientation is like this. But you if you focus on the whole object, you will not see anything special. But if you focus on this one special point on this object, this point, so if you focus on this special point, you will notice that this special point is moving on a parabolic path. Okay, this special point is moving on a parabolic path. This is again the parabolic path. So in projectile motion we have a parabolic path, as you remember. So this object is moving weirdly, but there is one point on this object which is moving in a proper parabolic path, like like a normal object, like a normal ball was there which was thrown in a projectile motion in a parabolic path. So this point is an example of the point known as center of mass. So what is a center of mass? There exists a point in the system where if whole mass of the system is supposed to be concentrated, the nature of the motion executed will not go any change. When the forces acting on the system are applied directly at this point. So what do we mean by this? So for example, in this object, so it is the point at which if we concentrate whole mass of the object, then the nature of the motion of the object will not change. So let's say in the mass of the object is distributed everywhere. Okay, the mass of the object is distributed everywhere. But what happens if we concentrate the mass of this object at this one point? So let's say whole of the mass of the object is concentrated on this one point. So what will happen if we apply the force on this point? then the motion will again be same. The motion will be like this, which was initially the case when the object was like this. So if we assume that the whole mass of this object is concentrated at this point, and then we apply some external force, then the motion will be exactly same as it was the original object. In other words, it is the center of mass is the point on the object where we can assume that the whole mass of the object is concentrated. Whenever we have objects which are not point objects, we can assume that the whole mass of the object is concentrated at the point which is known as center of mass, and then we can do all the calculations like a point object. So till now we did everything assuming that the objects are point objects, but let this object is not a point object, this is a big object in a different shape. So we can how can we do study the motion of this object? So we can assume that the mass is concentrated at this point, one point, and then consider this to be a point object, and then study about motion as we have done till now in the previous chapters. So let's mathematically try to define center of mass. So let's say we are drawing this coordinate axis. We live in three dimension. X, y, z. Now let's say there are multiple particles located here. Okay, there are multiple particles located. All are point particles for now. Okay, this point may be of a single object. Okay, they might be a part of a single object. Okay, so let's say there are multiple point objects located at different places. Now what is the meaning of center of mass, or how do we define center of mass? So there will be one location where we can assume that the whole mass of all the particles or objects is concentrated. So here we can find one location. Here we can find, let's say here this is the location. So there will be some location where we can assume that the whole mass, all the masses of this in the system are concentrated, or all the mass of the system is concentrated at that particular point. Now let's consider the masses to be m1, m2, m3, m4, m5, m6, m7, and so on. There can be many particles and number of particles, and let's say their position from the origin, their distance from the origin. Okay, let's say it is r1, or let's say this is x1 for the x-axis, and y1 for the y-axis, and z1 for the z-axis, x1, x2, y2, z2, like your usual coordinate geometry. x7, y7, z7, x6, y6, z6, x5, y5, z5, and so on, etc. Okay, so these are the locations as well. Now we need to find a point where the whole mass is concentrated. Let's say the mass was concentrated here, so we consider the location to be x, y, and z. So how can we find the location of center of mass? That is, how can we find the x location, y location, and z location? So we will do one thing. We will solve for x axis separately, y axis separately, and z axis separately. Okay, so the general formula looks like this. Location of center of mass is equal to 1 by m summation I mi ra. Now this might look very weird to you, but this is very simple. Let me write it in a very simple manner. Okay, so what they are trying to write is the location of center of mass is equal to m1 r1 plus m2 r2 plus m3 r3 up to whatever particles you have upon what is the meaning of capital M here? Capital M means summation of all the masses, that is m1 plus m2 plus m3 up to whatever many number of masses we have, let's say mn. Okay, so what is R here? So R represents, R means x, y and z whole together. Okay, so we will find x, y and z individually. So what will be the formula for x? It will be m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus up to mn xn upon m1 plus m2 up to mn. Similarly for y axis it will be m1 y1 plus m2 y2 plus m3 y3 up to mn yn upon m1 plus m2 up to mn. And similarly for z axis m1 z1 plus m2 z2 up to mn zn upon m1 plus m2 up to mn. So what we are doing here is that we need to find the exact location of center of mass. So how can we find that? We can find that using individual x, y and z components. We need to find all the components individually. Okay, so this is like taking mean or average. If you know what is the formula for mean and average, you can easily look what I have written here. So this is nothing very difficult. This is quite simple. So you just need to do one thing. If you want to find the location of x axis, center of mass in the x direction, then just do the averaging of the locations and the masses. So m1 x1 in plus m2 x2 up to mn xn, and add all the masses, and you will get the value of the center of mass for x axis. Similarly for y and similarly for z axis. So this is how you can find the center of mass. So center of mass is the point where we assume that the whole mass of the object or the system is concentrated, so that we can easily solve the problem considering the weird object a point object. Okay, so the point of any shape of object can be considered to be a point object if we assume that the mass is concentrated on one particular point known as the center of mass. So now let's take a few examples of different bodies and their center of masses. So let's first take the simplest example of center of mass of two particle system. So let's say we only have two particles in a system and we need to find their center of mass. So let's assume that this is one particle, this is another particle, mass is m1, mass is m2. Their distance is the distance between them is d. Let's assume that the center of mass is located somewhere here. It is just our assumption. This is point O and this is point P. Now let's take point M1 as the origin. Point M1, the location of point M1 is at the origin. So if we do this, then what will be the coordinates of M1? The coordinates of M1 will be 0, 0, 0, because if something is at origin, then its coordinates are 0, 0, 0. Now one object is here, that is P object is here. So what will be its coordinates? Its coordinates will be d, 0, 0, because in y and z direction it is 0, only in x direction it is up to point d. Okay, because its distance is d from the O point, origin point. So point M2 is located on x axis and its location is d, 0, 0. So now ultimately what will be the x component of center of mass? So m1 x1 plus m2 x2 upon m1 plus m2. So we will get 0. Let me write completely. m1, then x1 is 0, then plus m2, x2 is d upon m1 plus m2. So we will get m2 d upon m1 plus m2. Now similarly for y direction, we will get m1 y1 plus m2 y2 upon m1 plus m2. Now it will be 0. Why? Because y1 is 0 and y2 is also 0. So it will become 0. And similarly the z component will also become 0. So this is the x component of center of mass. This is the z component and this is the y component. So in this question, what did we get as the location of the center of mass? We got the location to be m2 d upon m1 plus m2 comma 0 comma 0. So this will be the location. Once you know the value of small d and m1 m2, you can find the position of C. Where is it located? Now let's take another example. Let's say we want to find the center of mass of any continuous body. So what is the meaning of a continuous body? It only means that the particles are everywhere. Particles are present everywhere. Okay, like a disk or a spherical ball or a cylinder, all these are continuous bodies. So what will happen if we take the examples of continuous bodies? How can we find the center of mass? So the center of mass needs to be found out using the integration method. So it is quite simple. If you look here, for discrete objects, we are using the, for discrete objects, let me write it here. This is for discrete objects. Now for continuous object, the formula reduces to this: 1 by capital M integration of x, or I should write r dm. Okay, r dm. So this is the formula when we need to find center of mass for a continuous body. So again, the value of m is some integration of mi. So when we have a continuous body, we use integration. When we have a discrete body, we use summation. Both of these things mean similar things, but in discrete objects we use summation, and for continuous objects we use integration. So what will be the formula for x component? It will be 1 by m integration x dm. For y component, it will be 1 by m integration y dm. For z component, it will be 1 by m integration z dm. So these are the formulas for center of mass of a continuous body. So let's take few examples in this. So let's first take uniform straight rod. First shape is uniform straight rod. So for a uniform straight rod, what we will do, let's first draw the diagram. So let's say the rod is like this. This is our rod. Now this direction is the x-axis. Let's assume that we first will take small region. As you always know, during integration what we do, we take small region and then finally we integrate all the small regions, or add all the small regions to get the complete value. So let's say that we are taking the small region AB whose width is dx, the width is dx, and the distance till here is x. So what will be the x component here? The x component will be 1 by m x dm, like this. So here the limits is for, let's say the length is L. Okay, so we are going from 0 to L. So the limit is from 0 to L, then x is the location of this point, and what is the value of dm? So dm can be found out using m by L into dx. Now what is this? So let's say that the complete mass, total mass of the rod is m, total length is capital L. So what will be mass per unit length? Mass density in terms of length, it will be m by L. Okay, so what we will get? The mass density will be m by L. So what will be dm? Dm will be, or you can write like this, density or mass per unit length, linear density is equal to, you can write it like this, dm by dl. You can write it like this also, small region. So ultimately we know that mass per unit length was m by L, capital M by L, and for small region again the density is same. Whether you take the whole object or you take a small portion, the density remains the same. Okay, so therefore these are equivalent. Now we need dm. So what will be dm? M by L into dl. So because of that we have used this m by L dx instead of dm. So 1 by m, let's take m and the constant terms outside. Okay, so m L 0 to L x dx. So what we will get? 1 by L, here x square by 2, 0 to L, 1 by L. Once you put 2 instead of x, and once you put 0 instead of x, upper limit minus lower limit, so you will get 4 by 2. So that is, oh just a second, we did one mistake here. This is L here, so we get L square by 2. So we get ultimately L by 2. So this is the center of mass in the x direction. Now what about y direction? So for y direction the center of mass will be 0. Same reason, because the object is not located on the y axis. In the y direction the distance is 0, this y is 0, therefore the center of mass will be 0 in y, and similarly it will be 0 in the z direction as well. So these are all the points for the center of mass. So center of mass is located at L by 2, 0, 0. So it is quite simple. If you notice, if you have some symmetric objects, then the center of mass is at the center itself of the object. So here it is located at L by 2 location. Where is it? L by 2, that is at the center of the rod. Now similarly you can find the formula for center of mass of uniform semicircular wire or uniform semicircular plate or any other object for that matter. Now let's discuss about motion of center of mass. So just like we know RCM, the position of center of mass, can be written like m1 r1 plus m2 r2 up to mn rn upon m1 plus m2 plus up to mn. So similarly we can write the velocity of center of mass to be VCM will be again dx by dt, or you can write dr by dt. It will be m1 v1 plus m2 v2 upon m1 plus m2 up to, let's say, mn vn. So let's say up to mn. Similarly the acceleration will be given by m1 a1 plus m2 a2 up to mn an upon m1 plus m2 upon mn. Now for acceleration we have other forms as well. So for example m1 f by m1 plus m2 minus f by m2 m1 plus m2 equal to 0. What we did is up to, let's say, mn f by mn. So let's assume that we are only discussing about 2 points, it will be easier to understand. So what we did here is that let's assume that there are two objects, example two objects applying equal and opposite force. So at the place of a1 we can write f by m1, and at the place of a2 we can write f by m2, but with minus sign because the direction is opposite. So ultimately everything will get cancelled here and we get center of mass to be 0, acceleration of center of mass to be 0. So this is quite simple. If the net force is 0, then the acceleration is 0. So this must be quite simple to understand that whenever we have the net force on an object 0, the acceleration will be 0. So similarly the acceleration for center of mass comes out to be 0 in this case as well. So with this we have studied a bit about the concept of center of mass. So this is a simple concept in which we consider that the mass of the object is concentrated at a certain point known as the center of mass, where if we apply the equations of motion, they will be applied as applied for any point object. So we approximate any object in terms of a point object by using the concept of center of mass.